Hello, and thank you for joining the After School Effect. My name is Tracey Knight, and I am the Self-Mastery and Success Coach for educators. I am always super excited to be here with you every single week, providing tips, tools, resources, building a community of educators, a place where educators can go to feel empowered and rejuvenate so that we can take back our field. I've developed a campaign, a national campaign called the Campaign to Save America's Educators, the Unsung Heroes. And it has a 5-point strategy. And those strategies are attraction, to attract new talent to the field, to retain and develop those of you that are already in the field and want to remain there because you feel a calling and a purpose on your life for this. The management of school culture and climate. The fourth is equitable responsibility, which I want to talk about. And the fifth one is elevating the profile and the sense of reverence for the field of education and those that are in it. Now, equitable responsibility is part of what I want to talk about today. But today's topic is called boundaries. So equitable responsibility really has to do with understanding that while teachers and administrators, school personnel are the guardians of education, we are the ones that protect and insulate and serve as a champion for quality education and ensuring that our children are safe and protected and learning, that we are providing the needs that they have 8 hours out of the day every single day so that they can move towards their purpose. I get that. But it is unrealistic to think that this responsibility lies solely at the doorsteps of education. There is no way that we can address, explain, or mitigate all of the social ills that young people come into the school building with. It must involve parents. It must involve policymakers. It must involve school boards and politicians. It must involve big business and corporations. It must involve just the average Joe that wants to come in and mentor and tutor. It's all of our responsibility to make sure that children are ready to learn. I've just finished watching a video where the Oklahoma school teachers just walked out. This is on the heels of West Virginia successfully completing their strike. Arizona is not too far behind, and I just learned that Kentucky has also decided that they were going to have a walkout. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And hooray because for so long, we have not allowed ourselves to have an active voice and participation in the process of creating a field that is responsive, reasonable to what is actually reality in education. I think for so long we have allowed other people to make decisions about education without us even at the table. No more. No more. Now, I'm not into blame. But I am into responsibility. And I believe that part of that responsibility lies with us. That means that we stifled our own voice. And this is an uprising to give our voice back to the circle, to bring it back to community so that people can understand our actual position. Not one that is meek and timid, but one that is confident and bold. And it doesn't have to be one that is ferocious. We don't have to be ferocious. We're already powerful. You don't have to declare your power when you are powerful. But it does demand that we have a seat at the table when policy and practices are being passed and enacted. That's what it means. Now, why is today's topic called boundaries? Well, it's called boundaries because a boundary just means that you understand what it is that you want and you need in order to be successful as an educator. And this other person or this other group may have something that they want or need. The boundary just simply implies that you have set a mark where you will not move beyond that. In other words, this is the place, moving beyond that is a place maybe where you will not feel honored and respected. And I think in the past, we have not had any boundaries. We have just allowed people to define what success looks like for us, what work days look like for us. There were no boundaries. We didn't create our voice at the table. This is not about them giving us something. This is about us. It's not even about taking. It's about us being that, to be that voice. So the boundary that we must have, one boundary that must be set is with ourselves. The days of being quiet, meek, and timid and being afraid that you'll lose your job are over with. We are all powerful beings. We bring greatness to the table. And I think that's a part of the problem, is that as educators, we have believed the hype that we were inadequate and inept and that anybody could do this job. No, they cannot. If they could, they would be doing it. We are the ones, we are the champions, we are the guardians, we are the ones who have been called into this. This is a purpose call, okay? And to have answered that call is noble, but it also means that you must stand in confidence, in self-assurance, knowing that this is valuable. And I will admit, at one point in my life, I too had bought into the hype. Like, well, do we really have a lot of value? Are we really making an impact? Yes. And more importantly, we didn't create all the circumstances that come in the door. We didn't create all of that. And we surely are not going to be the only ones that help to resolve that. It is not only is it unfair, it's unrealistic, and it takes the onus and the responsibility off of the other stakeholders, the other partners, like parents and business who have created products, marketing, media. Everybody has played a part in this. There are so many dynamics that affect whether or not a child comes ready to learn. So while I believe that we have to do our job and do it to the very best of our ability to be an exceptional educator, we also cannot be delusioned and disillusioned to think that it is our sole responsibility to fix all of the social ills that come in the door. So in order for us to engage the outside stakeholders, we have to learn how to set and enforce boundaries. This is really about having, I hesitate in even using this word, but the expectations. I think it's really more of responsibilities. It's equitable responsibility from all stakeholders. And I think that people really have not, since we have not said anything, people have just felt like they could do anything. Well, enough is enough. Enough is enough. If we want greater pay, we must have a voice at the table and not settle for less. If we need more resources, we must say that. We must have a voice at the table, insist upon that. And don't take anything less. That's a boundary, okay? If we need our power back to be able to be creative in the classroom, then we need that. We say that. We expect that. We insist upon that. If there's too much testing that's going on, then we say that. We expect that. We set that boundary. We do, and that may mean that some of us may have to go into political office. Some of us may have to run for school board. Some of us may have to galvanize to educate voters. There's so many things that will have to be done, and all of this is a part of the campaign. So I say all this to say, it's to challenge you as an individual, each of you that's watching this. Where do you need to begin to set a boundary? And the boundaries don't have to be something that is forceful, that is, it can be bold without it being dominant. It can be bold and and powerful without it being boisterous or insulting. We're already powerful. Let us show up in that power every single second of every day. If you'd like to learn more about the campaign to save America's educators, the unsung hero, please log on to www.iamtracyknight.com and go to the About tab, and that's where you can hear all about the campaign and what it is that we're doing. We also want you to sign up on the site because more news, more information is coming out. We're in the process of selecting about 12 cities to powerfully launch this campaign in, which is a very comprehensive strategy that you can read about there. That's it for today. I'll be back again with you a little later on. Peace.